All right.
Welcome to the Real is Rare podcast with Nonito, Donaire.
The Filipino Flash, Nonito, Donaire.
I'm a big fight fan in general, both UFC and boxing. And I mean, I remember watching Tyson and Holyfield in the freaking box, you know, one of those box in the kitchen. And I had to go to the kitchen. That's the only TV we had. One of those, you know, big, heavy TVs. That's where that was 97 or 98. I don't know.
You're old, dude.
Oh, no. Actually, I think it was 95. Shit, 95.
Wow.
Something like
That's
that.
crazy.
Actually, yeah, 95. This is exciting, man. I was watching some of your interviews, even in the Philippines, when you decided to kind of almost have semi-retired and all that with Boy Abuyat. Is that? I think that's
Yeah.
GMA or
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's so much. You'll never hear me retire until I say it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I get it.
There's going to be speculation that, oh, he's not fighting, he's retired. A lot of people like to put stories out there that,
Yeah.
you know, because for me, I'm a man of my word. So when I say I'm done, I am completely done. This is why I am still fighting. I'm still doing what I need to do because I enjoy it and it's safe for me. And I've done the sparring and the training and all that stuff. And all these young guys can even hang with me. So for me, I'm like, you know what? I gotta continue this, you know, and that's why I decided to go back into it. But never saying that I would retire, because for me, when I finalize something, I gotta go with it, man. That's just my virtue. That's just my honor in myself. That when I say something, I have to do it.
Yeah, you're an active, very active fighter, even at this point, right? Yeah. Do you just stay in shape all year, or how's the methodology with your training?
You know what, man? I think it's very, very important to understand, because the older that I get, the more that I realize how important our bodies are, right?
Yeah.
How important to continue to have that youth within us, within our bodies. So for me, it's all year round. Like even when I'm on vacation, it's a lifestyle now. I'm training, I'm working out. I find a time in between those little busy moments or vacation that I get time for myself, and that is training my body, training my mind. You know, so it's very, very important for me to be training. I mean, there's different type of training, right? So there's training camp training, and there's training that just kind of get your body to move and get the muscle to just constantly be used. You know, so that's one of those things, and I think is very important for ourselves, our body, but when our body is good, our mind is great.
Yeah,
That's right.
Well, you started, Anthony, what age in boxing? What was that?
I mean, officially, I would say, man, I was one of those kids that just grew up seeing it in the garage. I mean, my first fight I ever saw that I remember very clearly was Fernando Vargas versus Oscar De La Hoya.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I remember it was me, 9 of my cousins in the garage. We're in Victorville area, California.
Wow.
You know, young Mexican American in the San Bernardino area. And I just remember our cousins, my tío, like my uncles.
Mhm.
You guys say tío?
Yeah, we say tío.
Okay.
Yeah.
I almost said in Filipino, but Tagalog. So they'd put us on boxing gloves and they'd have us spar in the garage and train. But just growing up around boxing, being in the gym my whole life, because they were all fighters, it was my first love. But I really took it to another level where I was like, I'm going to get very serious about this at 17, 18 when I was in the Marine Corps. And we'll just say first year in the Marine Corps, even though I loved the Marine Corps, I was meritoriously promoted. I knew right away, I was like, I'm not doing this for the rest of my life. You know, I got spit on in my face and I couldn't do anything about it. I was like, oh, this sucks. But point is,
You want to do a left hook, huh?
yeah, real bad. And I just was so angry, and I had a kid at 18. I was stressed, and I just knew I needed something to do, because unfortunately, a lot of Marines, I mean, they're either in the gym working out, lifting the whole time, shooting, or if you're not working, they're drinking. They're just in the barracks drinking. And I remember, man, Lord forgive me, but we were drinking Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, waking up 5 a.m. PT, and we didn't really care.
Well, what do you mean? You know, for us, it's like that's a daily routine, man. You know, I'm like drinking. That's a daily routine. At least in my household, you know.
Yeah.
You know, we have our own stuff, but I mean, you know, life is how you want it to be, right? And I know, sorry to interrupt you on that one, but go ahead.
It was toxic though. It was like toxic drink. Like we're like drinking the whole bottle of the. Anyways, but point is, it was.
We have a bottle. We have two. We have three. That's one sitting for me, man.
Yeah, 18, 19, and trying to work the next day. But I just knew I was going down a bad path, and I was like, I remember hitting up one of my uncles, and he said, "You need to get back into boxing." And I was like, all right. And so I pulled up to a gym in Point Loma in San Diego. Joe Vargas is in there. And long story short, he just said, hey, get in there, spar. So I sparred with a pro at the time who was like 13-0. I didn't have any official team like USA amateur fights yet, even though I've had a lot of fights growing up and been in the gym. And I got dropped with a body shot, but I just knew in my heart, I was like, I can do this. Long story short, within 3 years, I was top 3 ranked in Team USA. I put together probably like 75 fights, about 75 fights in 3 years. And then, yeah, you know, I got out of the amateur game, went pro. Henry Ramirez was my manager, Joe Vargas, my head coach. And it was fun. It was short-lived, but I learned a lot in a short period of time. A lot of fights and, you know, hanging out with Pacheco and Luis Feliciano, Steven Nelson. I trained with Canelo, Jaime Munguia, sparred with him many times. Triple G's camp and Big Bear Fundura, like all those guys in the short period of time I was around and exposed to.
Pretty epic, man.
Wow, those are big names, man. You know,
Yeah.
but that's the thing is like, you know, you find people around because sometimes you find that energy in the like minds and stuff like that, and that's where you want to be when it comes down to it. But ultimately, you know, there's just things that are stuck in people's mind. Like for me, it's boxing, it's fighting, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what I know how to do it, but I have to learn how to become other things outside of boxing, you know what I mean? And you know, it's a short-lived career, but I've done it for 3 decades now.
Wow.
So since 12 or what? Is that what?
Yeah,
Give or take?
yeah, but not, 11 was my first amateur fight.
Really?
You know? Yeah.
Where was this?
This was here, not here, but in California at that time, Northern California. And, you know, I was bullied growing up in school because I didn't really speak good English, you know, and I didn't understand any of the stuff. And everybody was so much bigger than me, you know? So I was like, man, I'm like, come on, let's go, you know? But I was always afraid because being Filipino and coming in from a very poor upbringing, you know, like poverty in the islands. So we didn't have that mindset or the confidence in ourselves. We always thought that everybody who had more money than us was better than us, right?
Ooh.
That was the mindset that we were taught to be. So when I came in here and everybody spoke English and I was just very quiet and, you know, I was bowing down to people and stuff like that because I was taught that they are better than me. You know, that was the mindset being poor in the Philippines was they were telling us that the foreigners are better than us because we're poor. We don't have nothing. We didn't have anything. We didn't grow up with anything. So if somebody tells you to do something, you be polite and you do it. You know, it was just like that slave mentality that we were
Be obedient.
Yeah, be obedient.
Really?
Pretty much what it was. And so for me, I didn't, you know, I got bullied because I was very quiet. I was very small. And
You came to the U.S. at 10, right?
yeah,
10?
yeah.
Okay.
And I didn't know how to speak the language, you know. I thought when they put me in ESL, I thought Spanish was English. So I started speaking Spanish, you know, and I'm like, hey, ¿cómo estás? I'm like, that's not English. I'm like, what do you mean? You know, so from that point on, then I started learning how to speak English. But because I was bullied in the streets and in school and everywhere.
And this is in Oakland?
Yeah, in the area, in the Bay Area. So I grew up in San Leandro, which is right next to Oakland, Hayward.
Got it.
You know, and all of that stuff. So when I started boxing, I did it because I was coming home, crying home. You know, my dad didn't. He was just fed up. He was like, man, why are you always crying going home, right?
Oh, wow.
So, you know, I'm like, they beat me up or whatever it is, right?
You did that pretty good.
Yeah. So all your life when you get used to it, you know, like, I'm like, talk. I'm trying to talk. You know what I'm saying? So he got me into boxing because just kind of protect myself, right? And learn how to protect myself. But then I think it was 45 days in training or 40 days in training. He was like, "You're going to fight." I'm like, "What?"
Wow.
You're going to fight. So my first amateur came in 40 days after, 45 days after, just a little bit over a month. And I kid you not, man, I was so scared because I get bullied, right? I was bullied during that time. And I'm telling you, when I was in the locker room putting the little raps and stuff like that, they don't do that whole rap. They have this little short, they have the rules in amateur back in the days. So I was peeing in my pants, you know, like little trickle here. And I'm like, I think I need to go to the bathroom. I went to the bathroom 20 million times, man. And then when I was walking in, I was like, I think that's a bigger trickle. But the moment
I was story.
Bigger trickle.
But the moment I got in there, the moment I got hit with that first punch, man, I was just like, okay.
Did it turn on
Yeah.
at that point?
Boom. It was just like the switch just turned on and I beat the crap out of this kid. And all the fear just disappeared. That's why I always tell people, try it until, you know, you never know until you try something, because I didn't know I was going to be a fighter. Within me was this kid who was hungry to show himself.
Great.
Right. So when I got hit, boom, and all the fears and everything got taken away.
Yeah.
I just went out there, survival mode mentality, and I just beat the crap out of this kid. Gave him like 3 8 counts in you know. And mind you, back in the days in the amateurs, even till this day, you're 11 years old. It's only a minute.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's not the whole 3 minutes, right? It's only a minute. So in that minute, I was beating the crap out of this kid. You know, so but I didn't know I had that fighter in me until I was in there.
I think every boy or kid needs to go through that to be a man. You know,
I 100% believe that.
There's I'm getting goosebumps because this is anything in life. It could be public speaking, for example. I mean, before like all the engagements where I before I go up on stage, oh my God. I mean, pee, cough, this. I mean, just panic attack. You know what I mean? Like I'm getting myself in this crazy state, but it's the same kind of feeling. And then after the first 10 seconds, it kind of, then there's a flow.
Yeah, I think.
But it's the acts of courage. You mentioned something. It's hard to teach, and I'm going to quote you on this. It's hard to teach hard, and it's hard to teach courage. And I understand why, because you got to do it. Like there's no escape in it, right? It's an act. It's not like you're trying to think your way out, you know, in it. It's
but that's the thing is that, you know, being human minds, right? It's such a great tool to understand, but it's such a detriment when you don't, right? Meaning that if, like, say, when you wake up in the morning, the night before, you're so eager and motivated, right? I'm going to wake up in the morning. I got my stuff ready, blah, 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 this and that. You wake up, the alarm, and you're kind of tired. 5 minutes more, 15 minutes more. And then you get up, you're dragging your feet, you're drinking your coffee, and you're like, you know what, man, I can do it later on. And then later on comes in, I can do it tomorrow, right? That's usually the mindset. But because our mind will tell us to be in a comfortable situation, right? So that's why it's not, like you said, it's not a thought, it's a do. Meaning that when you get up, just freaking do it. Do it. The more that you think about something, the more that it's going to hold you back, because the comfort of our mind and complacency is the killer of everything that we have in life. Everything that we become, you know, our courage, our wealth, everything that we strive to become because of thoughts and the complacency and the comfort, it's what drowns us to become regular. And this is why a lot of people are just doing the same thing every day.
And this is great coming from a fighter, because I mean, you're in the ring, you have no choice but to act. Like too much thinking will kill you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And part of this, I think, thinking nowadays is a luxury. And I think people have too much time. The people that have too much time to think is the people that go, I have issues. Because they're just pondering and drowning in their own thoughts. And instead of having other people's thoughts and collaboration, it's just their own thoughts. Like you talking to you a lot of times doesn't serve you.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, and this is the conversation we had before, you know, I just, people are they're gonna go with mental health and stuff like that, and all of this stuff. I mean, listen, back in the days, you get smacked and mental health goes out the window, right? I'm like, what's mental health? Boom! I'm like, oh, there is no mental health.
You got no time to
Right?
think about it.
Yeah, it was just you gotta do it. I mean, look, no disrespect to people out there and what they believe and stuff like that, but for me, I think you hone your mind, you hone your heart. There is no mental health. It's because we have choices. You can choose to have mental health, or you can choose to get out of that mental mindset that, you know what, man, I want to do something better for myself. This is just me, right? Everybody is different, but this is what I believe life is that you have the choice to become whatever you want to become. Strive, train hard. The people that are having this issue is because they're not getting energy in their body. They're not working out. They're not doing this. They're not doing that. They're just sitting home. They're drinking. They're eating all kinds of stuff. Especially in the U.S., they got so many chemicals in all the stuff that we eat.
Yeah.
And this is why I don't believe in mental health issues, because at the end of the day, we have the choice to live, to work, to do, and get it out of our system, you know. But because of the food that we have, the mindset, the people around us, again, life is what you want life to be. But if you want to be in that moment where you always need to be helped, then have your mental health issue. You know, become a dog, become a cat, become this person, become whatever you want to become. No one's gonna do whatever you. That's your life to live. I don't want to say nothing about it. That's on you. I have no right to say whatever you want to believe. But for me, my belief is that I don't believe in mental health. Yeah. I don't believe in the fact that we have the choice in life to work, to do, to have fun. You know, yes, you're gonna have depression, you're gonna have this and this and that, but that is part of life. With me, I get knocked down, I get back up. That's what life is about. You get knocked down, get back up. You got depression. Okay, what? You know what? This is a learning lesson. Move on to become better, and so that you don't go into that particular part of your life and get drowned again with that same sorrow.
Come on now.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's a fighter's mentality, though.
I love
mean,
what
you
he
think
said.
about it.
He said, I have freedom to speak about what I want. I said, America. America came out right now. But hey, real quick, you don't even have. I'm a Marine. Most suicides in America come from veterans. And what you said, though, is so true. Whatever you believe is true. Whatever you believe is true. And if you say you have mental health, it almost becomes a cop-out. And because you now have a lack of belief of anything else. Right. To work hard for something. So I love what you said. I do agree.
I mean, I don't look, listen, man, everybody's different. They got their own experience, right? And I'm not trying to knock their mentality. I just say, you know what? This is what I believe of me, right? Do what you believe in you. But if I can say something to them that they have the choice to be better, their mind to be healthier, then make that choice or stay where it is. But you can't complain to anybody else to ask for help. You know, we'll help. Don't get me wrong, because I believe that as human beings, we gotta help each other, right?
Agreed.
And that's why I don't judge whatever you want to become, whatever you want to be, whatever you want to do in life. But I'm gonna teach what I teach to my kids on what I believe my life is and what I believe life is all about.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yes, Mike.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, just hearing about your journey, you know, as an immigrant, like the influence, like you came from the islands. A lot of us migrated here. I'm just so inspired by the mindset that you have. Like, how come there's millions of immigrants came in here, but not a lot really have the courage to grow to the highest level, like where you are right now. Like when you started boxing, you didn't expect that, but the mindset that you have, like you're always growing, but to the highest level, right? Until now, like hearing.
And I'm still growing. And this is something that, for me, I could have been anybody else, but I had a rough father, who never really paid attention to what I did, right? So there would be a time when I would win a national and I'll probably get a pat in the back. When my older brother was favorite, every time we'd won a local fight, right? We'd go to the restaurant, right? So instead of saying, man, my dad was so rough on me, I'm like, hey, thank you, man. Thank you, because it made me better. Mm-hmm. It made me stronger to prove that, hey, I exist too. I'm your son as well. But you know what? It made me better. It made me train harder than everybody else. Mm-hmm. Well, and that's why for those that have a hard life, embrace it, because you are the diamond in the rough. You are that particular, because you've You've learned to become stronger mentally. If you use that experience to propel yourself rather than make it as an excuse. And a lot of people do make it as an
Yeah.
excuse.
Hey, it can build you or break you, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It can build you or
Say-
break.
But that's why you got to make that choice, right?
That's right. That's right.
Like with us, like even back home, right? Like when you live in Manila and in the province, there's also a big difference, right? So what inspired you to keep pushing, or that inspires you where you were growing as a child back in the island? You said Bohol, and good to know you're from General Santos, right? Shout out to our kababayans there, right? But what do you have that you learned when you're young and growing that you really used to when you're growing, like that first fight, that first growth that you have?
You know what? In the beginning, it was faith in God because I was so scared in life.
Mm.
I was so scared because I was told that I wasn't gonna be anything. Every day in my
Wow.
life, my dad would say that I'm never gonna be anything. I'm a piece of crap. That kind of mentality was put upon me. My mom would call me the ugly duckling. So in my household,
Wow.
I have the toughest time. There was a time when I was 11 years old that I just said it's enough. I said I'm done with this. I'm done with this life. I always, when my mom and dad would I would hear them arguing about, man, I'm feeding these kids. We don't got no money, this and this and this and that. And for me, it was like, man, what am I doing? What am I doing in this world?
Yep.
When I'm just spending my dad's money and so at one time I just I hang myself.
Wow.
I
How
wrapped.
old were you?
I was 11 years old. I wrapped the cloth in my neck. I was a kid. I was bullied, and even though I started boxing already, it was very hard for me because it came to a point where I hear it from my dad, I hear it from my mom, I hear it from everybody, I hear it from school. So I was like, why the hell am I in this freaking world when
Wow.
when I shouldn't be in here? I'm an extra food to be fed. I shouldn't be. I'm an extra money. To my family. So
Yes.
I was blessed that I wasn't strong enough to tie the knots. So when my weight, after a while, when my weight kind of went down on the cloth, because I just kind of did it slowly because I didn't want to hurt, right? So I did it slowly. I was on my knees. It was on a bunk bed. I was on my knees and I kind of leaned forward, and I kid you not, the whole body started tingling everywhere.
Wow.
And it just buzzing all over the place, and everything started becoming all white, like the old TV when there's no program,
Yeah,
just static.
White noise.
That's pretty much what it was. After a while, I just had that static, and I leaned forward, and I was just the weight in itself, untied the uh the clothes that I was hanging myself in,
Wow.
right? And I slapped myself on the bed, gasping for air.
Does your parents know this at the time or not?
I don't even
Did
think
ever
they
find
still
out?
know it at this time. It's
Oh
just
my
I kept
God.
it, and it's just at that time it was just I was that kid. I was that kid that got every negativity, everything. When they're mad, they pointed at me. When when they needed to talk something, they pointed at me. Right, so everything was on me. I was a soundboard for all the negativity. But at the same time, it came to that point where I was asking myself, why am I here? Why am I still alive? And this is why I go out of my way to help people, because I was here for a reason. I was here to be blessed and to bless others, for having this opportunity. And this is why I'm so positive as a person. Now, it didn't take, it took a long time for me to realize it, that I was here for that,
Mm.
and that was because I started to surround myself with the right people. But before that, it was a daily routine for me where um, I heard it every day, all the negativity. But I work hard to do what I need to do because I wanted them to be proud of me. Because for me at that time, it was serving my parents, so I didn't do it for myself. I didn't do it for myself because I did it
feel
for them,
recognized.
because I didn't know at that time. I was a child. I was a little kid, right? I didn't know that what to do in life. So I did everything with my parents, whatever they wanted me to do. Whatever they wanted me to do, uh, classes, whatever in school. Like I'll do whatever. It wasn't like, oh, I want to be. I asked my dad, I want to be a musician or an artist, right? That's what I wanted to do, right? And he's like, no, that's some waste of time, blah, 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 right? So you're going back to boxing. I'm like, okay, cool. So, and in 2000, I was, I fought in the Olympic trials and I got into the finals and I lost that in the finals. And then they had given me a scholarship for NMU. And I wanted to go to college, and my dad's like, "No, you're not going to college. You're going to pro. You're gonna be a professional boxer right there." And then I'm like, "Okay, I'm done. I'm done with school." I'm like, "Why am I going to school if I can't go to college?" So everything in that time, I did it for my parents, right?
The being obedient.
Yes, because that's what I was taught to do. But then when I had that moment when I was 11 years old, that particular traumatic moment, or I would say the new life, right? Because I could say traumatic, but it was the new life that made me realize that I'm much more than what people say I am.
Yeah.
Right. And so ultimately I came to find a partner that blessed me with strong fortitude of the mind, the body, and the heart. She allowed me to become a person who I am today. And I know it's very important to surround yourself with the right people.
Wow.
That's just how it is. It's like plants. You get your fruits. You get a moldy one. Everything's gonna get moldy. It's just part of energy. It's part of what life has given us. Is that we are here for a particular reason. But if you're hanging around with the wrong crowd, guess what? You're gonna be that bad apple too. If you go to the other side, you're gonna be a really delicious, luscious apple.
I did not expect to get emotional, man. Just like coming to this podcast.
This is the thing. What you get is authenticity in life, and I think that's something. Well, now I know that's something that each and every one of us, in order for us to live a good life, a life that's blessed, that's filled with gratitude, is living a life of authenticity. I think when you have nothing to look beside you, but just.
But I think that's forward. A journey for people to find themselves, though. I don't think. I mean, you had that journey where you found yourself. And you go, man, I love me. I love. You know what I mean? So there's that whole thing. I mean, you just went through 11 years old with that whole. I mean, that's pretty. I mean, that's pretty.
I'm thinking of my kids. I got 4 kids, and I'm like, how do I champion them? How do I don't want to be their soundboard. Like, I'm just literally thinking of, man, have I argued? I'm sure I have argued with my wife and. The kid, what are they hearing?
Right.
That's it's great.
Well, that's the thing, is that you give them to be mentally strong, to be honest with themselves, and like with my kids, the 2 boys, I always tell them, never make excuses. You're gonna run a whole mile, 2 miles, 3 miles every single time. You're gonna do push-ups and sit-ups. That's their punishments, right? Or taking away their video games. But back then, it was the punishment would get slapped in the head, right? Belt,
yep.
The chanclas, but
you ever squat with the books on top?
No squat.
I did my kids squat by pulling their ears like this. And then squat against the wall. They hate it.
Oh yeah, see, for us it was like, go on your knees. There's salts in there, rock salts. I'm like,
and Mongo.
That was back in the day.
You ever padded up? I padded up, like put like stuff, yeah, pat it up so when you get slapped, you pretend I was crying.
So that's how I learned how to
Become a good actor.
I mastered it, man. I mastered it.
Wow. You ever done any movies or what?
What's that?
You ever done any movies?
I did a movie in the Philippines.
That's what I thought.
It was a Visayan movie, actually. It was a Visayan movie about this.
You speak Visaya?
Yeah.
You did?
Oh, yeah, Cebuano, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
No.
so
You guys can do a little dialogue.
Yeah. So I did that, and that was a really fun movie. We did it in like 6 days, 7 days. It was shot quick, and my first shot,
7-day movie.
yeah,
Wow.
it was
very Filipino.
Yeah, it was my first scene was a crying scene. I'm like, are you expecting me to cry right now? Okay, hold on. Yeah. No, but it was fun. It was amazing. I like that kind of stuff. Just out of your own experience. You want to experience something different. Because life is all about experiencing life.
Mm-hmm.
We're so caught up and consumed with making money. We're so consumed with this and this and that.
True.
That, like, with me, I bring my kids with me. I was out for 2 months in Australia training one of my fighter, and when I came back, my son was just bigger. I'm like, never again, right? I can't take this time back. So for me, I was just like, okay,
Mm,
you guys are going with me wherever I go.
mm.
So from that point on, they've been with me, you know. And
Beautiful.
sometimes we want to go out to do a cross country all around, you know. So that's something that we plan to do as well.
Yeah.
You know, but
Man.
life is amazing. You just gotta make it amazing.
Yeah.
That's true.
I do the same, and I bring the family wherever,
Yeah.
right? 80% of the time.
Listen, at the end of the day, life is not guaranteed, right? Today may be the last day. And I always say this, you know, not to be all sentimental and all of that stuff. It's just that at the end of the day, live a life that you can be proud of. Like if I am to go now, I'm like, I'm proud of myself.
Mm.
I'm proud to have and did what I did in life, you know, and that's what I take to myself, because I'm living a life where I'm happy of myself. I wasn't with the BS. I wasn't with all of that stuff. I connected with people that I inspired people and all of that. So for me, I'm proud of what I've already made, you know, and I would love to live for the longest time, and I'm gonna do that because I feel that I can do that. I'm still have a lot of moments in my life to inspire people.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
How did your parents get to the U.S.? What was their path?
My grandfather was born in Hawaii. They were one of the old plantation people or
Oh, wow.
stuff
That's
like that.
crazy.
So when my dad found out that he was a U.S. citizen, then
Oh, wow.
you know he was in Jensen actually. You know?
Wow.
So he came into the United States, and then within a couple years, he brought us in here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that came to a point for us. For me, I grew up with no electricity, You
Still
know,
why?
right? Yeah.
No toilet, probably.
No, we well in Bohol. So in Jensen, we had some electricity there, right? And that was our thing. But then when my parents left to go to the United States, my grandmother and my grandparents were in Bohol. So I grew up there 4 more years until my father came in. And at that time there was no electricity. The bathroom was in the back, you know. You gotta fold some papers if there's papers, or there's some, you grab some leaves and whatever it is, right? You know, so you know, all of that stuff, water, you know. So it was very humble, but it was an incredible experience, because at that time I could remember as a kid,
Wow.
even though we didn't have anything, it was
You
fun.
you don't look at it as an issue because you grew up with it,
Yeah,
right? It's
Yeah.
not like it's a burden, this and that, and that's why I think it's so important to have another lens. Like for some of us that grew up in the United States, I see both perspective because I grew up there too until 14.
yeah,
And so, like, having a different perspective in life just opens up. It's not even gratitude; it's just appreciation and for everything that takes place. And then you, like, the way you navigate through life is different. So a lot of times when we have all these challenges taking place, I challenge you. I mean, for most Americans, if you do, fly to a third world country,
True.
and you know you'll find out your problems ain't shit right away.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just too much crap that most people talk about in the U.S. that it's so irrelevant in other countries, and I think we just got to get a grasp of that and just kind of shut the up, you know what I mean, and
Yeah.
kind of
well,
put your
mentally
shit together.
That's
You
the
know what I mean?
thing
It's
is, you know, I don't blame how they are. It's because of the place and their upbringing, right?
Mm.
So for me, we grew up in a tough neighborhood, a tough mindset, tough and poverty and all of that stuff. So we grew up, we had to grind, we had to learn how to do things, you know. And these kids, they have screens, they have video games, they have their dopamines are being triggered every single
and
time.
it's a
every
form to
single thing.
escape the moment, right? I'm not feeling good. I'll escape. It's the same thing
Right.
as grabbing a bottle
Right.
of liquor,
Yeah.
and escaping the moment.
Or no, like even men with like porn. Like, with the porn,
Yeah.
they have to escape this and get
Right.
this fake dopamine.
Yeah.
You know,
And that's the wrong thing. I mean, again, that's why I always encourage people to go work out
There you
because
go.
that's the real stuff right there. You
I
know?
think choosing the vehicle,
Yeah.
the right vehicle for you to get those highs or dopamine would be the right way, right? It's
Yeah.
like, and if you've done it right with fighting and
yeah.
training and all that stuff, which is just
I
I
put
see.
I put it all on red last night. Didn't
Yeah.
work out.
Well, that's part of the chance of life. You know, the chance of life is, you know, either you're gonna take control of your life or you're gonna take things in perspective that you have no control over. And when sometimes you may win and sometimes you may lose. A lot of times you do because you're not taking responsibility of where things are. Like for me, I love to take control of where my mind is, where my mouth say things, and sometimes I say the craziest thing at times, But at the end of the day, that's the choice that we have as human beings. Is man, listen, you know what? I'm gonna make myself the way the crazy thing is, I never thought I'll be here. I never thought that I'll become successful because of the crap that I was told all my life, right? I was told this, I was told that, and that's why I go back into having the greatest partner and the people around you, because my wife constantly challenges me, and I hate it. Right, like, oh, I'm like, because like it becomes a trigger, and so when it becomes a trigger, I'm like, okay, I need to improve myself, my mind, because I already know that if I move on to a different person, it's gonna be the same shit.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the same thing.
We were talking about this last night,
right?
Yeah, so good.
So when you go to solve the problem, I'm like, okay, let's solve the problem, and then a new problem arises. But then if you move back because you're so fed up with this bullshit, you move back, you go back into ground zero. What? It doesn't make sense to go back into ground zero when you've already established a foundation, a fundamental, an empire with your whole family. Just because you got a disagreement doesn't mean that it's the end of the world. And sometimes our mind goes, it's in the end of the world. I'm done with this stuff. Suck it up, buttercup. Grow some balls and just talk to your wife. Talk to your partner and be like, hey man, listen, I don't like the way you came at me. And then she's going to tell you some other stuff. And then, so it becomes a conversation. I'm like, look, listen, man, I'm sorry. You can call me an asshole, but that's just how I am, right? She always calls me that because I'm like, sometimes I get there. But doesn't mean that it's the end of the world for her too. She gets on my ass about shit. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Tell me. Let me know. Then the conversation becomes so much easier because now you're hearing her. A lot of the guys, we don't hear the wife. You know what I mean?
We're trying to solve shit right away.
Right? We're always trying to solve stuff really quick because that's how we are. We're like fish. We just forget about yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean what happened yesterday? I'm like, so we move on.
I'm not the only one, babe.
Right.
That's funny.
Right.
I don't
We have a
remember
list.
much.
Right. I don't know what you're talking about.
She said, "You remember when you said this?"
I know what
It's
you're
like,
talking
no,
about.
I would never say that.
It's
I
fun.
would never say that. That's horrendous.
She goes, "Are you delusional? Are you delusional?"
You know what, man? You know what? Let's have a conversation. Let's start all over.
It's funny how they can also regurgitate the entire conversation. I don't
Wait a
know.
minute.
My
Or tone of voice.
yeah,
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Oh, you were doing
Yeah.
this and you were doing that. I'm like, you were
But your-
doing this, dude. What you talking about?
But your tone was offensive. You know what I mean? Like,
For me, would be like, you looked at me funny, man. But yeah.
how about timing? Like, it's. I don't know for you, but this is what I bring up to my wife. Like, why now? Can we schedule
Yes,
this?
yeah. Oh, yeah. Right.
Why are you
why
trying
go
to
bed?
destroy my aura?
Okay, you
I'm
guys,
trying to. Like, I got 5 appointments coming up. Why now?
I prayed over all the kids tonight. I prayed over my wife, tell her how much I love her. Lights just go off. Boom. Lights go back on. We need to talk.
And never stop too. Like, I'm like, man, let's talk tomorrow. I don't want to say some stupid shit.
No,
I'm
no.
like, boom, poke,
Yeah.
poke.
It's
I'm like, I told you,
Yeah.
let's just talk about this tomorrow.
Yeah. I get like, can you come here? Sit down, please.
Oh no, we need to talk. We need to talk. I'm like,
With the head
all
movement.
right, all right. What do we need to talk about? I'm like, you remember? I'm like,
And we're usually skeptical already at that point. We're like,
I'm like, just suck it up, man. Just be cool, just be.
Here's
cool.
my
like,
go-to.
I'm like tearing up.
I
at
go,
this
I go
thing.
to my wife. I said, babe, hey, we'll do this, but I got a meeting in 10 minutes. Can we get this done in time? I always try to put a block.
That's the wrong thing to say.
Hey, you know what, man?
That's borderline stupid at that point.
Yeah. You know what is crazy with me?
I'm gonna give it 10 minutes.
Oh no, never.
That's not
Never.
gonna happen.
That's just like boom.
Monica, I
Shank.
apologize.
Oh my gosh.
You know what's crazy with me is, for some reason, every time that my world is like crazy, like I just like fall asleep. Like when my wife started to talk to me, My brain, my brain shuts down. My brain shuts down. Like she's talking to me. She's getting real mad. All of a sudden, I'm like this.
How much of that do you think is like just our prime of being as a man, where we go, just let me hunt.
That's true.
Let me just hunt.
You know what?
let me bring
Let me get out of here.
Let me bring this home for the ladies. Wife. So
Yeah.
he said it's about prime and being. In the Bible, the woman was never born in the wilderness. She was born in the garden, but the man was born in the wilderness.
Oh.
And so they say when God rested man, Adam, he took the rib out
Yeah.
and planted the rib in the garden. And I just remember my pastor had a word saying, man is survival. Man is hunt, kill.
Right.
Man is protect. Woman is in the garden, beautiful roses. It's our job to protect all the bad things that happen in the wilderness to the woman. So they're blossoming like a beautiful flower, looking for just protection. We think logic. We think black and white.
Beautiful.
We think yes or no. They don't understand that. They need to be watered, nurtured, taken care of. And if
Listen.
and guess what? If we don't do that, you know what's going to happen? Those thorns that protect those roses will poke us if we don't protect it the right way. So when my pastor told me
That's
that,
a lot of thorns on my end.
yeah. You gotta cut the scars.
I don't know if there's thorns, man. They look like knives to me, man. I'm like pins and needles, man. You know, but no, I 100% agree with that mindset. You know, but that's called leadership.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
For a man, it's
right.
leadership. When a woman is being taken care of and led, it's when a man can become whole. Now, again, a woman was created to be part of us, from a part of us, right? In that Adam, like, you know, what you have said. So in that essence, when we are with a woman that actually it expands our mind, our heart, is when we can create. See, a man cannot be a king without a woman behind her to allow him to see things. Like the reason why I am so positive in life, not just because of the way I grew up, but because I had somebody, that particular person, my queen, to allow me to see life in ways how to lead and how to appreciate and how to go about creating a mental fortitude that nothing can ever break me down, but the people around me, my wife and my kids, are the ones that I'm always going to protect, right? but because she had allowed me to see my power, and a lot of men will never see their power if they don't have a person that allows them to become whole.
Yeah. That's
Such a good point. I think in and I'll bring this up just for there's obviously you're talking about leadership in the family and doing that. There's a lot, and I just have to bring this up just because I see a lot of it in the Filipino community where if the men don't do that for their family and you know provide that leadership, well, the women will, right? I mean, it's
Right.
just and you see that in a lot of Filipino households, right? I
Right.
mean, where the women is kind of and especially here if they're a nurse and then the husband's a postal worker, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I make more money than you, and then this almost this hierarchy just switches.
wow.
I think we need to bring some of this masculinity back to the
Well, that's the
you
thing,
know, or
right?
Is
examples at
that in
least
the
of it.
Filipino community pretty often?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
But the thing is that, see, that's why it is. It's all leadership, right? Like if my wife is making more money than me and more successful than me, I'm gonna be able to take care of my kids and raise them right. And at the same time, it's never gonna be I make more money than me or you. You know, I'm gonna be like, you know what, go find somebody else that will comply to you, because I am a leader and I'm gonna give you the best of me. And if that best of me is not good enough for you, then I can't help you with that, right?
Correct.
I'm gonna make you happy as much as I can, but that's me being a leader to myself, right? But I learned that because she had led me to understand that my life and who I am in my household. Like if my wife says something, I'm gonna respect that, right? Because I have all the love for her. If she says, like majority of the time, let me tell you this. Majority of the time, she makes a lot of decisions. The majority of the time, it's her decision. But when I make the decision, I make the decision. There is no why, right? You'll never see or hear her say why, because I make the decision when I need to make the decision, because that's what I feel that it should be, right? At the end of the day, my wife is the most incredible person. Without her, I wouldn't be the person that I am.
Yeah.
That's 100% truth. She's taught me to become just everything that I am in life and to be grateful for things and stop looking beyond anyone else. There's so many things, successful men, they think that they need somebody else around them. But because my wife had led me to not want anything else, that lust in itself is just but an energy that I don't entertain because I'm happy where I'm at in my life. At the end of the day, when and the funny thing is we've been married for 18 years now, 17 years.
Oh, wow.
Congrats, man.
Thank you. And sometimes we're just hanging out in the couch and we're not even talking, but we're connected in that way. It's the weirdest thing, right? But then we can have the conversation. We can do anything. We can be watching TV. I'm just right here on my phone, or I'm here with my audiobooks and stuff like that. I'm not even listening, and she'll tap me and she'll like, did you see what happened? Like, no, tell me what happened, But that's just the connection. Like people they have so much expectation of what relationship is that it's drowning their relationship, that it's breaking them apart. Don't make an expectation. Be authentic to that particular moment and particular energy that you're in at the moment. You don't have to hold hands every time. You don't gotta go on dates all the time. It's good to go on a date. Date your wife every single time. If she heard this, she's like, how come you don't take me on a date? I'm like, well, I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a beautiful thing when you can have somebody, if you can learn to lead yourself, to lead a whole family, but you become a better leader when somebody is there to constantly challenge you. And a lot of times when the challenge comes, people break. And this is why you have that conversation with yourself and you'd be like, you know what, man, this is a trigger. Why am I having this trigger? And you go back into that conversation. But there is no problem big enough for a relationship to just fall apart. Unless there's lies, then that's a big that's a big issue right there.
Yeah.
Lies and cheating and all of that stuff. Then that right there, it's up to a person whether they're willing to forgive them in that time or not. But eventually, life moves on.
Yeah, true.
Super awesome. Good. Well,
yeah, that's incredible, man. I'm on it'll be my 21st year on October, Halloween, on marriage.
Wow.
Yeah, so
congrats,
I got married early.
Congrats. Yeah. That's great, man. That's, and I was just talking to you about this too, about kids and stuff like that. Yeah. I didn't know I was going to have kids. And the funny thing was I set me and my wife, we had a conversation and I told her, I'm like, you know what? If I start making money, $1 million was our threshold. If I get a contract for that, then, then we'll have kids. And then in 2012, we had we got a call and they faxed us the contract. It was for $1 million, and right there and then my wife got pregnant. at least that was the time.
That's
where you got the Filipino flash.
Bada bing, bada boom. No, but yeah, man, that's relationship. That's life. That's But it took us 5 years. Before being there, because at the same time, for me, I wasn't gonna be a father that wasn't there for my kids. I want to give the best of what I can with my kids, right? Yeah. And that was my thing. I put a thing for myself that to have, in order for me to get to the next level, I have to have this, right? And I work hard to be there, to get there, to do that. It was all planned out in that way, and I think that people just kind of move and walk and they don't really know where they're going in life, and yeah. So going back into the boxing and business too, you got to learn how to be a businessman, because at the end of the day, your body will not be as good as it is when you're younger. Sure. So at the end of the day, you have to learn how to have varieties in life,
Let me share this. I think women, and just to go back to the few topics ago, women are looking for men to lead them, but if they don't have it, then they're forced to step up.
100%, man.
You know what I mean? Like if they don't have a man, they're forced to step up, meaning they're not leading the family or whatever.
Well, I don't think they gotta protect themselves.
That's right.
They gotta learn. If there's nobody there to protect them, guess what? They're gonna learn to do what they need to do in order for them to feel secure.
Yeah,
that's so pretty much what it is with women, is feeling that security. And that's why a man has to learn how to lead, because at the end of the day, the woman has to feel that loyalty and that respect and that love for them to continue loving you with you know with without anything
Yeah.
on, you know, just that.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to bring this up, but I don't think it has anything to do with even if the woman makes more money. I think if you allow your man to lead the household, right, and give him that power, if not, you'll end up with a woman. You're a woman married to a woman.
Yep.
I mean, that's what you're doing to the man. Think about it. Think about how demoralizing that for the masculine energy. I mean, it's just, and so you either want that, and now that's where there's no more magic in the relationship because a woman's married. You know what I mean? Like it's the same energy they're vibing.
A man who doesn't lead has no place.
Yeah, and that's the thing is people have to stop putting a relationship and everything in life with monetary values because a woman can make more money than you and that has nothing to do with it.
That's
you know,
right,
it's you being a man and being able to lead your woman, make her feel safe, make her feel like money has nothing to do with making a woman feel safe.
Yeah.
You know, like there's gonna be a relationship that, you know what, we don't got nothing today, but I'm gonna work as hard as I can to make ends to make things work for all of us. And at the same time, she's gonna do the same thing because she feel that she has that love, that the security. Because the thing is, people in all this social media and all that stuff saying that women this and this and making money. I'm like, because they haven't had the right man to lead
right.
them, to make them understand how important a man's
So good.
energy is in a relationship. You can make all the money in the world, but at the end of the day, you're gonna be hungry for a man to lead you, to be there for you, to cater to you, to love you and protect you in that way. Because energy don't talk, we feel.
That's right.
You can talk all you want. You can have all the things that you want in life. But at the end of the day, when you have an energy that suits the person that you're with, guess what? That's protection. That's security. That's the feeling of calmness that people don't understand, and it doesn't talk.
Yeah.
Mm.
If my wife was here, she would agree with this whole thing and be an advocate for it.
He's trying to win her right now. What did you do,
My
man?
wife All right, Nonito, I want to ask because this is like goes in right in line with being a great leader in the household, being a great leader in business overall.
Yep.
But not all fighters are married and have kids yet. But I think a lot of the similar traits are there. And my favorite thing is seeing performers make a transition from their one lane to being a man, a leader of all, right? From, let's say, being a Marine or a military member. You making that transition, which is a tough transition. Military, 4 years, 8 years, 20 years in a row, transitioning out to something else. Being a boxer, all we know is fight date, weigh-in. That's all we know, right?
Right.
And then making that transition to understanding this whole scope of business. What separates, though, the good fighter from the great fighter?
Mm.
There's
It's-
like three separations. What would you say?
Well, there's a thing of the confidence, right? The confidence level is what strive to make a man stand up or the athlete stand up. But then having the understanding of where you want to go, and then at the end of it is knowing. When you know you are, you are.
Mm.
This is how it is. When you have this belief, I got this. That's you being a prospect. Then you get to a point where, you know what, I understand this. You know, I know this. You know, and so you start to understand stuff, and you're like, you go and you become a champion, and then you go beyond that by knowing that you are.
How much of that is
That's
because
so
you're
good.
exercising hard and courage all the time?
All of that is
Right?
a given.
Yeah.
It's a given. You know, you're in the hurt game where your life is always on the line, right? So when it comes down to that, you got to work hard. There is no place for you to not work hard. But then the concept of the mind, the greatest thing is our mind, right? We are only as good as our mind is, right? So if we work harder than anybody else, but then your mind is weak, guess what? Your body is going to
Yeah,
be weak.
very true.
Our mind is such a powerful thing, you know, intentions, belief, faith, all of the stuff. Because why do we hear miracles all the time about some mother pulling the car because a baby's stuck in there or whatever, right? Because we have that, the only thing that limits us is our mind, right? And we go again, waking up in the morning, like our earlier conversation. You know, when you think about something, it's either you're gonna do it or you're gonna talk yourself out of it. That's our mind. That's how our mind works. And that's why a strong mind is a strong heart, but a strong body. Everything else is aligned to that. But at the end of the day, learn to have faith in it, having confidence, and then learn to understand that you're going somewhere. But because of faith and understanding, you're gonna do everything in your power to get there. And then after that, it becomes aligned. The alignment of the mind, body, and spirit. That's when knowing comes in. And when knowing comes in, you got it.
Yeah.
I got this. This is mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The spirit of knowing, man. That's a beautiful thing.
I love how you broke that down. Just I've never heard that. So I got this. I'm a prospect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know this. Like
Yeah.
you become a champion. I understand this.
Yeah.
Is world class.
Yeah.
Wow. Really
There's
good.
even, I mean, he's talking about the knowing. It's like you don't believe, you know.
Yeah.
Right? There's a big difference.
See, that's a part of manifestation, right? The manifestation is people are gonna be thinking and talking in the back of their head. I'm like, I don't got it. Guess what? You don't got it.
Yeah.
You know, but then you're just striving. See, the thing is, when you
Knowing is walking into it.
Right.
Right. I mean, that's
knowing is it's all. You know how many times they say we already have it. It's already there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But because we talk about it so much, we say something about, instead of moving in silence and knowing that you throw it out there already, now you got to create the foundation and the leg to get you there.
Let me ask you this: how much times do you exercise your vision by like playing the fight in your mind before you get in the ring? Do you do that or?
I stopped doing that.
You
I used
stopped.
to do that when I was in the understanding phase, right?
Got it.
Like I understand this stuff now. Okay, cool. And I used to play it. Now I just I throw it out there. I'm like, I'm already it. You know, I don't think about it anymore. I just go in there and perform.
Mhm.
You know, and that's the difference between knowing, because when you know, you just know, you already understand the
That's
process.
some matrix stuff.
You already got to the level where everything else is the same thing, right? So when you start knowing and having that understanding, guess what? With faith and belief, it's like it's already there. That's part of manifestation. That's part of why we create, because you just throw it out there. When you want something, see, the thing is, when you want something so much, it slips out of your hand. 99% of the time it will, because you're thinking about it so much that in the back of your head, it's going to make you doubt.
Mm.
And when you start doubting, then it takes away the essence and the energy of that frequency of you having, right?
Wow.
So when it comes down to it, just throw it out there, make the step. Don't even think about it. Make the step to get there. For me, like, just say, I'm undisputed champion of the world, right? I'm undisputed champion of the world. I'm undisputed champion of the world. And I go in 3, 6, 9 too in my head. So, you know, I say things in that sequence. But I just throw it out there, but I run, I spar.
Correct.
So I'm building all the leg work to get there. So if this is where you gotta be, how do you get there? You want to climb the ropes? You might slip off of it. You know what? I'm gonna build legs and foundation to get there. And by doing so, having the right fights, having the right training, having the right body, having the right mindset, having the right everything, because now it leads us to there. But because I threw it out there, I'm not thinking about it anymore. I'm not saying, oh, I got this. I'm going to be champion. I'm going to be champion. You say it all the time. You know what? Every morning I go in the backyard. I'm barefoot. I'm in the sun. I'm thinking in gratitude. That's all I'm thinking about. I'm not even thinking about, oh, I'm undisputed champion of the world, right? I just go out there. I already know I am. I'm just got to make it there. Watch. In a couple of years, after save this, because in a couple of years when I become undisputed, this is exactly my example of why I became undisputed, because I just know, because I threw it out there and made the legwork. Now, if I didn't make the legwork, then it'll become shaky and I'll fall and I'll never get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think most men lacking the hard work to chase the best of them.
I think most men are not afraid to see themselves in the mirror, and this is why they lack the discipline and
Discipline.
the want.
I really love what you say. Like,
Because look, you look inside that mirror,
Work.
you look at that person in the mirror.
You said they're afraid to.
They're afraid.
Right, got it.
The biggest and the hardest challenge in every man is facing himself.
Yeah.
A lot of people are afraid to face themselves, and that's why they dilute themselves in alcohol, drugs, and whatever it is, porn or whatever it is that make them feel good at that moment, right? Because they are not willing to face themselves, and that's why I always teach my kids to be authentic, be able to see themselves. If they hurt, they hurt, you know, and we'll have a conversation about it, you know, until they learn to become self-sufficient to understand that I am who I am, and therefore I will become what I am to become. Right? I will not let anyone tell me otherwise, because no one controls me but me. I am my own power. God gave me the power to think, to make choices. And this is why I don't believe in anything else, because God has already given us everything that we need in life.
Correct.
We just dilute it with, or we just mix it with so many bullshit distractions. And this is why you get all kinds of people that want to become somebody else,
Yeah.
because they're not happy with themselves. I guarantee you, the moment they look at themselves in the mirror and work in their own selves, in their mind, in their soul, they don't want to become anybody else but themselves, because that's when you can love yourself, and that's when anything in life and confidence and gratitude comes into fruition, because you know what, man, I'm living a hell of a good life.
Yeah. I love one of the things I go over all the time with is sitting in your pain. Like, it's okay to sit in the pain and feel it, right? Because it causes change. It causes all these things for a man to act. A lot of times, all these escapes we're talking about, alcohol, this, that, is an escape from the pain.
Yeah.
But if I can sit on it, where it can bother me enough where I can fight back, right? I mean, as a fighter, or act on it, then I'm freeing myself every time you do that.
You know,
Yeah.
the biggest remedy, medicine to that pain is gratitude. Live a life that you have energy to live for today, to create tomorrow. A lot of people worry about it. They sit on it, and they're killing themselves, as compared to, like, you know what? This is an experience. I'm grateful for this. I don't want to feel this feelings anymore. So I'm gonna do something better on myself. But that's me sitting on myself, and realizing and staring at that man in the mirror, being inside myself. See, a lot of people don't go out of that, but the greatest key to life is gratitude. When you can be grateful for being here, you will always have an opportunity to live and create.
That's right.
How
Thank you,
often
Jesus.
do you think that measuring where you are right now and saying being grateful?
There's no measurement. There's no measurement. It could be the water in front of me I'm drinking. Thank you.
True.
It could be just moments that my kids gave me a hug. Thank you. It could be the biggest thing. I just won a world championship. Thank you. It could be anything. People have a level,
Measurement.
a measurement to how they should be thankful, instead of be
Yeah,
thankful
that's
for
it.
breathing.
Yeah.
Be thankful for, like, movement. Be
Yeah.
thankful that I got no pain
Yeah.
anywhere else. Be thankful for a life that you were able to laugh. That we can be here and just, you know what, I had coffee today. Thank you. You know what, I got this. Thank you. It's so hard for us to say thank you, because we have a measurement of why we should be thankful about something, when we should be thankful about everything
All
in
of it.
life.
Yeah.
I think so many
So-
people have too many rules on why to be happy or why
Rules
to be
happy.
grateful.
I love
Too
that.
many rules.
Yep.
And I think
Like, if
it's good.
this happens,
Yep.
this, and this, then I'll be happy. Well, it's a recipe for disaster and frustration.
Do you think
right?
that stems from, I think Nonito was saying earlier, like the social media stuff? Do you think that stems from comparison? Like, oh, I can't be grateful for this Honda because this guy has a
Comparisons,
Lamborghini.
Right. That's very true in that way, right? Because we were never taught. But see, the thing is, when you start, there's Google, there's a lot of search engine that will teach you. If you seek, you shall find.
Come on now.
Knock and it shall be open.
Amen.
Right?
Wow.
That's the key that God has given us for ourselves. So go and seek a life you want by wanting it, by seeking it, by getting there. And all the alignment, the world, the world, the universe, and God conspires to make us successful if you want it, if you love it, right? If you seek it, right? That's the joy that we have in this life. Why is it that you're thinking about something, all of a sudden this person comes around and all the things, and he's gonna lead you to where you want to become, or to where you want to be, to where you're going and stuff like that. That's part of life. God is generous that he always supports us in what we want in life. It's just that we don't want it hard enough.
Okay, got
We
it.
want, we're talking ourselves out of it. But going back into learning on your own, if you want to learn, there's so many things in this world that you can learn. To take the time, instead of scrolling, instead of like watching the TV or be on your computer, search something that you want to know about something. Then guess what? It's there. right? It's there, and it's gonna make you more better than you were yesterday.
Yeah.
That's what life is being better than you were yesterday. And if you're not making that choice, then you're not making that choice. But don't be ungrateful and be mad that somebody's better than you. But in that way too, people always have that comparison. Like, why compare yourself? Learn for yourself. You know, like with me, people always say, "Oh man, you're second to Pacquiao." Man, I'm blessed to be around that. See, people think I'm like that it's an offense because I'm not number one. I'm like, listen, man, I got everything in my life. I wake up in the morning, I got my kids giving me a big hug. I wake up in the morning, my wife, I make her coffee and stuff like that because I make the best coffee in the house because she don't know how to make coffee. I'm just putting her out there, you know, so I make the best coffee. But that's my gratitude in life, right? I can make billions of dollars. I can make millions of dollars. I can make all kinds of stuff. But if I'm not happy in life, I don't want it.
What's the point?
Yeah,
What's the
yeah.
point?
Because where I'm living, I'm decent right now. I'm decent where I'm at. Yeah, I'm growing. I want to create. I want more. But if it doesn't, it doesn't. My main thing is giving my kids a hug, telling them I love them, you know, and living a good life.
Yeah.
Because
a lot of
tomorrow,
people sacrifice happy.
they sacrifice happy for all this stuff. You know, they sacrifice adventure for more money. You know, what's more money? You know, keep creating at the same time. Have a good life. Have a great time, because there's going to be times that some people, they have all the money in the world, but then all of a sudden they can't enjoy it because their body is not willing.
Mm.
They're not living anymore. They're either wired
Existing.
to, you know, they're wired to something and they can't live their life. You know, my you know, rest his soul, my godfather had all the money in the world, and when he got sick, there was no money that could give him a new body. Maybe in the future we'll have new bodies, you know. But what I'm saying is, live a good life. That's all I'm saying. And by doing so, stop worrying about the worriness and the worries in this world, and live a life of gratitude and create.
Yeah.
So well said, man. Let's talk about the Ash King.
We were practicing last night.
Yeah. I had
Oh yeah, you got
I
it.
was
huh?
right there.
Oh yeah.
I almost had the whole thing, but I got up and slowly, and then it went all over my clothes.
Teach us your ways.
It's life. The ways is life, and that is patience, right? Patience and gratitude for the things that you have. When you start talking to your cigars or your water or anything like that, somehow, some way, this is why frequency in what we say creates, right? When we say something
That's so
good
good.
about something, that frequency, that's why I always tell my kids, watch what you say. Don't say, I'm stupid. I'm like, no. You know, it's like, I missed that one, but you know what? I'm going to get it, right?
How
Or
much of this you
whatever.
think is coming from like childhood, and you go, man, I don't want them to go through this self-talk?
A lot of them, a lot of the times, because I went to a rough time and I don't ever want them to get there.
Yeah.
But I think growing up now, and understanding, you know, being with my wife and understanding where my life is, I threw all that up. I threw all those moments of angers and hate and all of that stuff. And because I got I got the worst part of my life. I was born with nothing, right? When that was the blessing to me in my life,
Okay.
because it allowed me to grow further. But with my kids, you know, it's more of like, I can't teach them how I live, but I can teach them what I know now, which is gratitude, which is mental fortitude and appreciation in your own, and being honest with yourself, right? And you know, they're kids, they're always gonna do stuff, right? But to teach them to not make any excuse is one key factor of becoming a real man, in my case, at least, as boys, is owning up. So if you mess up, own up to it. Why did you mess up? Why did you do it? Because you wanted to? Don't lie to me. You know, if you lie to me, you know, I know this stuff, right? So they'll tell me the truth. I'm like, you know what, Papa, it was really fun, and I forgot to turn off my computer at the time when you told me to. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Thank you for being honest. I give him a hug. You know, there's no thing. But hey, listen, if you do that again, you know, I'm gonna have to take hours or times off your playtime. Then they start thinking. But back in the days, it would just be like, right? Like,
Hit first, talk
Yeah,
later.
like the fuck are you doing?
What?
Right? Pop, you know? So stuff like that, you know. But yeah, but at the end of the day, it's we all grow. Like I always tell my kids, they're my biggest teachers.
Yeah.
My
Mhm.
kids
That's
are
awesome.
my biggest teachers. They teach
yeah.
me to become more patient. You know, there's a time that I'm like, I learn a lot from them. There's a time that when I wanted to just go crazy, I'm like, oh, you ungrateful son of a, you know. Then I calm down because I'm like, is this even worth it? You know?
Yeah.
So is this even worth it for them to be fearful of life because they did something wrong? I'm like, you know what? Make your mistakes because there's no mistakes in life, just learning experience. But for each mistakes that you do or learning experience that you go through, there's consequences. Every path and every action that you take, there's always a consequences. There's a ripple to everything. That's why when I speak to kids, sometimes they might help their other friends. You know, there's a ripple to everything that we do, and we got to be careful of what we do with ourselves and the things that we say because it leads to another thing.
Yeah. It's
Very
so
respectful
evident.
kids, by
Yeah.
the way.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Just last night,
They better
Good firm hand-
smack them up.
like 3 things: firm handshake, yes, thank you,
Yeah,
pleasure to
firm
meet you, and they
shake,
look
yeah.
me in my eyes. It's
Yes.
like, man,
That's
great
it.
kids
I'm
right
proud
there.
of that. Like I get goosebumps, man,
Yeah.
because
Great. Yeah.
when I came into the United States, I would just
Yeah.
drop my head every time. I could not look at people.
Yeah.
You know, even when I became world champion in 2007,
Really.
like people, I would just still be like this. I was just still this little
Wow.
because my identity was in the ring.
Yeah.
When I was in the ring, I would look at you in the face and I will beat the crap out of you, right? That was my
Mhm.
mindset. But when I was outside the ring, I would drop my head down. I had a different personality,
Wow.
you know?
Wow.
So even I was a world champion, I was just still like very meek and very, very, you know. So, but now I've learned to kind of combine that, you know. Just don't mix it with tequila though.
Yeah.
Unless you're me.
What a story. Yeah, what a story there, man. Think about that. I mean, that's the whole. You just went over the whole journey there to the knowing state, and I think there's something to be said about that, and hopefully you take inspiration in this, right? For everybody that's listening, there's how much of this as you're building this person, how much is personal growth taken to place? Because I you know, you talked about audiobooks, this like when did that personal growth journey start for you?
That was when my wife came in the picture. My girlfriend then, you know, she'd always challenge me. You know, when I became world champion, I wanted to quit because I'm like, I'm done with this. I gave what my pops wanted. I gave him world champion. I'm done with boxing. I didn't like boxing at that time. And then my wife came in, you know, she was my girlfriend, and she was like, why do you box? Because like she would see me wake up, and I'm like, oh fuck, I got another day of training. Right? I'm like, why do you box if you hate training? Right? And then I'm like, you know what? I don't know. So from that point on, I started going into the series of learning why. And then in 2012, I became Fight of the Year. 2007, we met, and 2012, in that span, I became pound for pound #1, Fight of the Year, and I realized I love the sport, right? But what got me there was I was the king of the world. Everybody was my friend. I was making a lot of money, blah, blah, blah. And I became very arrogant, right? And then our relationship started falling apart,
Oh wow.
right? It started falling apart. It wasn't that we didn't love each other. It was just me being an asshole, me being all high and mighty kind of thing. And then, 2012, after that, 2012, it came to a point where she got fed up, right? And I was saying, like, man, if you want a fucking divorce, just go have divorce, right? And then 2012, it came to that point where she drove me to the courtroom. Like, you want this? Go ahead. Tossed the key at my chest. She walked to the bus stop, and I went into the courtroom, and I went in and talked to the person in front. I was like, hey, would I file for divorce? Blah, 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 right? And then the lady was like, oh, you don't go. This is not the building to file for that. You got to get out of this. You got to go to that door that you walked in, and that building over there, you got to go there, and that's where you file your stuff, right? Or something like that. So I walked out, and when I walked out, that was a clear, God was with me to give me that moment to think, like, I don't believe in this shit. I'm like, why am I here, right? And so I walked to the bus stop. I was like, hey, can I talk to you? I'm like, okay. I'm like, listen, I don't know why we're here. I don't know what really happened. Yes, I still love you, and I know you love me. And let me know. Let me understand why I got here. Give me a year, and if it doesn't work, then we'll go our separate ways. And then from that point on, I went to every seminars. I went to Tony Robbins. I was one of their platinum partners.
No
I
way.
went to around the world, got taught by gurus and stuff like that. I went to search for myself, and now I read books, and all the other stuff. Like, I learned because I was challenged to lose something that made me who I am as a person, right? Because she was the catalyst to loving myself, right? But because I love myself too much, I guess, that that she, I couldn't let her go, right? I couldn't let her go because I knew within myself that I belonged to her, she belonged to me, and from that point on, I spent so much money just trying to understand myself. And one thing I learned about myself was I hated myself. The reason why I got to a point in my life, because I didn't deserve the millions of dollars. I didn't deserve a wife that was very supporting. So I would sabotage everything in my life, right? Because in my head, I grew up that I was the piece of shit coming from my dad. I was the ugly duckling coming from my mom, and I grew up hating myself, and I did everything to serve others, right? Because I was numb, because I tried to take my life I tried to do that moment in my life when I was 11 years old, but I didn't understand why I was here, right? So I served everybody else. And then when I came to love somebody in my life, my first time in my entire life to feel it, to fall in love, to be with somebody, and taught me to become the best of me, the best version. And I was gonna lose this person, and I was like, something's wrong in here. And then through all the series of seminars and adventures of understanding myself, I came to a point where I hated myself more than anyone in this world. And the people around me, because they were so close to me, I treated myself with shit. So people around me, I treated them with shit, like shit, because that's how I treated myself. And that's why I always said, like going back into the conversation earlier, the hardest journey in a man's life is facing himself.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to see all our shit. We don't want to look at all the decision we make, and we're not perfect. We've done some stupid stuff. I mean, maybe a nice guy, but I've done some stupid shit too,
Yeah.
So when it comes down to all of that, I wanted something more that made me whole, and that was my wife. And I fought for that, and that's when I learned to venture into learning and growing every single time, because that's our journey in this world, is to continuously grow. If at any moment in time that we are stagnant and we're not growing, we're dying. We're not moving further. We're just weathering into nothingness. That's why grow, just a little bit things. And by doing so, be grateful every single day that you have the time, the day, the minute, the second to grow.
Yeah.
To learn.
Going through that story, that's like it derived from pain again, right?
Yeah.
For you to act and make things better and fight for your marriage and all that. It's funny because I was just with Tony Robbins last week on another event, but I've been going to his event since I was 19. And the first one was a given ticket to me. After that, that's how I started my marriage, was Date with Destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah. My first 3 months, we went there and, went over our values and all that stuff. And so, but think about this. You were a kid in the Philippines in whatever situation you were growing up in, to platinum partnership where you bought a circle, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's I
pretty much.
that,
Proximity
right?
is power.
That's right. Yeah. So you put yourself in a position where you got, and that's the thing. I think most people, they just got to position themselves where they're with the right people around them, right? That support their belief, their values, and all that stuff. And the partner, like you're mentioning, how your wife and the incredible partnership you have, it's literally everything, right?
Yeah. 100%, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
when I didn't buy the platinum partner, my wife did it for me.
Oh, wow.
And I was like,
See,
where's
that's
yours?
even,
she goes, where's yours? Because
he
it was
said,
like,
you need to be fixed, not me.
pretty much. Pretty much, I was like, where's where's yours? Like, how come you're not going with me? I'm like, no, you're doing this for yourself.
Yeah.
Because you've always relied on me. You've always relied on people. You're going to do it in yourself. So
Wow.
when we were in that room with all the platinum partners and stuff, I was in a corner. I didn't know.
How'd you
How-
feel there? Like when that
I feel
first
out. I feel like
Yeah.
what?
because that's
the-
another caliber. I
Dude,
understand that.
the confidence level in this room was off the chain,
Yeah.
like off the
Yeah.
roof, right? And I was in a corner just sitting there like a little lost puppy, man. I was just like, I don't know what to do.
And usually Tony has like billionaires speaking,
Yeah.
all sorts
Yeah.
of stuff.
Oh, yeah. So I'm like in a corner and I'm like, you know what, man, I don't belong in this. I think I'm gonna cancel this shit, right? So I was like that. And then a friend of mine came in. Well, he wasn't my friend yet. I didn't know who he was, but he recognized me. I'm like, hey, you're Nonito Donaire, right? I'm like, yeah, man, I love your fight. And so
Wow.
so that broke the chain of me, feeling out of place. And then we had a conversation, this and this and that. And all of a sudden,
Felt like you belong,
Now,
right?
then, yeah. And
Yeah.
that's all it
That's
takes, It's just having that courage, just having that conversation. And that little conversation will lead to something else, And that's how it was with me. And it was amazing. It was an amazing thing for me.
Even in our business,
Belonging is such a big thing, man.
we say there's three reasons why people quit our business. Just business in general.
Yeah.
They don't feel they can do it. They don't feel they belong. And the third one is they didn't get taken through the system properly, which is more of a technical thing, but it's really those two. They don't feel they can do it,
Mhm.
or they don't feel they belong.
Yeah.
And that's so crucial. You keep bringing up the pain, and I don't know why. It just keeps my mind just keeps replaying this quote I remember reading from Malcolm X. He says, "What you do not hate, you'll always tolerate."
Mm.
You almost have to. If you really hate it, then you'll change. If you
Yeah.
don't hate it, you just kind of not like it. You'll keep tolerating that
Yeah.
pain in life.
Right.
So that's really huge.
Yeah.
No, it's very, very important in understanding all of that, right? Like the pain, so for me, what I've learned in that journey was, again, I didn't like myself. Now that I do, I can say without any with confidence, I could say with confidence whether I like somebody or not.
Mm.
Right? I'm like, hey man, I don't like your energy, bro. I appreciate you, but I'm gonna go over here.
Let's
right?
go
Like,
through the room right now.
Yeah. All right, see you guys later. So, but that's my respect for myself, and that's something that everybody has to learn. Is that it's no offense to somebody. Now, whether he's gonna be offended or not, that's on him, not on you.
Correct.
Right? You just spoke what you felt, and you did what you do. When they get offended, because it's not you, it's them. They need to work on it. I'm like, hey, you know what? If you don't like me, I'm like, that's cool, bro. That's cool. Hey, have a great one. That's it. Right? But people get offended because they have not went through the journey of themselves. I'm like, okay, like if you have an issue with me, I'm like, that's cool, man. We don't have to hang out. I'll go over here, you go over there. That's cool. Right? But because people always have issues because they never had the time to really reflect on themselves of who they want to become and who they are and what they are. Right? So when they are spoken for, their ego starts, man, you gonna let them talk to you like that? I'm like, you can talk to me whatever you want. That's on you. I'm gonna hang out. I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna smoke my cigars, drink my whiskey. That's it. Right? People can have an issue with me. People can have whatever. Like the Crawford fight, right? The Canelo fight. And what's his name? Marshall Lynch was taking pictures and stuff like that. So I just went and I'm like, yo, what's up, bro? Like that. And he looked at me crazy, right? My old me would be like, fuck out of here, motherfucker. I don't give a fuck who you are, right? Like it would be like that in my mind, right? But I'm like,
quick change,
right?
The trigger.
But I was like, man, you know what? Do you? That means, that means you look at people below you, and that's all right. I'm gonna be over here, hang out with my friends. Deleted that picture. I'm like, man, I don't need people like that, right? Because at the end of the day, when people ask me for a picture, I'm gonna spend my time with a picture. If you're too good to take a picture with somebody, then you know what? I got no respect for you. That's on you. That's not on me. You know what I mean? You're gonna be you. You're gonna be you. I'm gonna do me. But that's something that I learned for myself through that journey, right?
Mm.
Like if some people don't like me, some people are not gonna like me. I'm not gonna go out of the way trying to make you like me. I'm like, hey, bro, why don't you like me, man? What's up, bro? Am I, blah, 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 this and that, right? I'm like,
Yeah.
that's That's
Well,
how
going back to the word arrogance you mentioned a while ago, that is an arrogant act, right?
it's an arrogant
that's
act, but again, for me, I could be. I'm not on his shoes to understand otherwise.
Right, yeah.
He's gonna
I
be.
get it. I understand.
Yeah, he's gonna be whatever he's gonna be. But for me, I'm like, all right, you know what, man? That's you,
Do
right?
your thing.
Do your thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know what you're going through. You don't know what I'm going through. I'm gonna just go my own way, have a good time, watch the fight, and that's it,
Yeah.
right?
I think
That's
it just
throw
happens
that.
with humans. I mean, I was in our previous company. There was somebody there that unless you made like 100,000, you couldn't take a picture with them. I'm like, what is
Right.
that? What kind of rule is that?
That's
Like,
why.
how about the like? I wasn't that guy, right? And then somebody gave me a shot. Somebody gave me a chance, and then all of a sudden, you have the right to like exclude people just because they don't make a certain amount.
right.
I mean, who are you, God? I mean, you know,
That's
it's
the
filled
thing.
with
Not
Not even
arrogance.
God would do that.
Yeah,
God
I
knows
know.
all.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is that people go through their own journey, and people just gotta understand that you don't have to understand their journey, but understand yourself that it has nothing to do with you,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right? If somebody says, "Oh, I don't like you," I'm like, "Okay, cool, go live your life. All right, peace, man." You know, and then yeah, but that's what I'm saying is that people have their own
Judgment,
journey, but
yeah.
because
Yeah.
we are so used to judging people that we look at it like, "Oh, he's fucking arrogant as shit," you know. Like sometimes at that moment I did. I'm like, man, this is arrogant as, and I realized I'm like, I ain't got. It doesn't bother me when I wake up in the morning. I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's right. Yeah.
move on to your next life, whatever.
I think
right?
there's something to like, that's who I do not want to be. You know what I mean? That's, and then you leave it at that.
Life is always going to teach us everything. The people, the experiences, just all around us, they're always teaching us everything else in life. But we got to learn to just kind of take it to improve ourselves. If that's something that you need to become. But at the end of the day, no one is better than the other. You may have the best of everything in life, but what at the end of the day, what Bruce Lee or somebody said it, we're just gonna be in the dirt like everybody else.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
All the
Dropping
things
gems.
has to stay here. Yeah.
I'm a philosopher, man.
I
you
like
know?
it.
I gotta
I
ask
like
you real quick. Top 2 favorite books. Top 2 or 3, real quick. Top 2 or 3 favorite books.
What started me was Jocko Willing's ownership. What was it?
Ownership. Extreme ownership.
Extreme ownership.
ownership.
Extreme
Great
ownership.
book.
That's one of the books that when I started my journey, that's the one book that I read. And the Habit book. What's it called?
7 Habits.
Atomic Habits.
No, it was I forget what it was, but pretty much just things about habits and stuff and
Yeah.
understanding yourself. You know, those are the two ones that really got me to understand myself a lot and understanding where I belong in my life, my mind. Every day I'm talking to myself rather than just doing, you know.
Mm.
So I started paying attention to how my mind works. You know, there's gonna be days like, okay, I drank today. Tomorrow, then most of the time I don't drink, right? But I smoke my cigars. You know, that's just how I am. It calms me down, right? But
You got a lot of awareness, you know, and you know, Tony talks about awareness is the first step to change, but you're very aware of your surroundings, your proximity, everything, right? The language, how you're talking to yourself.
yeah,
Yeah.
that comes into my part because when I started to learn that I need to grow every day, then that part of me was always aware with things. You know, sometimes I make the choice like for about three months now, I had not had any sugar or carbs. You know,
Mm.
the weekend with my friend fighting and the conversation with negotiation and stuff like that and hanging out with you guys, I had some carbs, I had some sugar, I had some cake, right? But I make those choices because I'm making those choices, not because I'm like, well, I can train tomorrow. Don't make any excuses, just accept it, right? So people go, man, you know what? I'm just gonna sleep in today because I'm gonna do it tomorrow. Or I'm like, I'm gonna eat this cake, but I'm gonna work out anyway. No, I'm gonna eat this cake. I'm gonna enjoy this
Enjoy it,
cake
yeah.
because I'm making this choice to eat this cake.
Oh,
That's
Yeah.
it.
Leave it alone.
boxers leave it so much guilt with food. I
Right.
got when I was cutting a lot of weight.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
take ownership to that you're doing it because it's fun, it's good, it's delicious, or whatever it is, right? You're having a good time.
Yeah.
Don't say I'm like, well, because I'm doing this. Don't make any excuses or a balance to make you do it otherwise. At the end of the day, when you make those choices, tomorrow will be like, okay, I'm training because I want to train, right? Not because, oh, I'm training because I ate this. Right.
Mm.
Don't ever put that in perspective.
Yeah.
You're doing what you do. So that way there is nothing holding you back from doing what you want.
And then now you're enjoying the cake
Beautiful.
you're enjoying the
versus like this guilt as you're
right. I'm like,
putting that
oh
cake in your
God,
mouth.
this is so good,
That-
cake,
dude, that was
but I gotta
me, man.
work out.
I was 170 getting to 147. It was tough.
Man, my last fight for the WBA interim, they gave me 3 weeks to kind of lose the weight, and I lost 30 pounds or close to 30 pounds in 3 weeks. You
Sheesh.
know, and there was
That's a lot.
you know, but you want to do it healthy. Like with me, I'm doing it healthily, right? It doesn't bother me because I fast a lot in my time, free time. Like every day, every week I fast at least 3 times a week, right? But that's me honoring my body, honoring my mind, you know. And they
Are you
just
talking about not eating at all, or are you doing like a
no, not
intermittent?
eating, not eating at all. That's just water fasting for 3
How
days.
many? 3 days.
Just 3 days
wow.
every week. There's times that I want to test it and I'll go 10 days, 12 days and stuff like that. But our body is so resilient. That's
But
the
that's
thing.
also you're exercising your mind when you're doing that because it's like a
yes.
fight. You know what I mean? In the mind. I think it's a good thing for people.
Try
to
it.
go through that.
If you try it,
I've
know,
tried it. I mean,
and it
not
calms
much,
your
but-
it calms your mind to understand that life is such an amazing thing. Like when you calm down to a point where you're not being dragged by food, you're not being dragged by alcohol, you're not being dragged by sugar and all of that stuff, you know, then you come to a point that you get deep within your mind and you're just like in gratitude, in true gratitude, not just you're saying it, but you're actually feeling it. You know, you're one with the sun. I'm sitting down in the dirt and I'm just like being in gratitude that the sun hits me. I'm feeling the warmth, you know, and then at night I do the same thing, but I'm feeling the ground, Mother Earth, and all of that stuff. I'm just being one within myself, but because I have nothing within me to entice me with things that I am free.
And it's crazy how you have so much time when you're not eating. Yeah.
You have so much time. Yeah, but we do so much crap and fillers and you know like how people
Or
feel
snacking,
themselves.
right?
They're
Yeah,
snacking
yeah.
all the time, right? Yeah. So there's so many things.
Yeah.
That's why you just
Like,
value.
take away food, it's like it's so different. There's so much awareness.
Especially
it
for
brings.
Filipinos, man. We love
Oh,
our
yeah.
food, bro.
There's
Like,
always baon.
oh man, I'm telling you, and we love the sugars too. We love the
Yeah.
sugars.
Yeah.
And the sugar is just on a different level, man. I try to get off of it because that's the greatest enemy to our body is sugar.
Oh yeah.
Greatest enemy.
As we wrap up, I'm looking at the time here, but what's some of the things you can tell our kababayan or fellow folks that are maybe inspired to do something, and maybe we were talking about like the crab mentality in the Filipino community, and how do we put this together? I look at all the different communities. Like the Chinese are very good at it. There's Chinatown everywhere, and there's they help each other. The Jewish community has a nice thing to that. I think and you look at the Filipinos and how talented and how good they are. They're chameleons. They can adapt in any environment. Doesn't matter what it is, and kind of fill in the gap. But
One thing, remove the competition. There is no competition but competition within yourself. People always compare themselves, and this is why they pull everybody down. Instead of just like, you know what, man, I'm grateful for you. You challenged me to be higher because you're higher than me. I'm gonna go higher than you. And then when I'm higher than you, you got to challenge me. That's the movement, right? Instead of like a competition, there is no competition but the competition within yourself. Because at the end of the day, you can have everything else, but when you start to compete within yourself, you're doing it genuinely through your own process, not because I'm forced to do this or I'm doing this or I'm doing that. No, don't ever compare yourself to nobody else, but the progress that you've done for yourself, because that's when you can truly be authentic to yourself and be in gratitude to the things that you've done.
That's amazing, man. How would you say that? How would you say that in Tagalog? Can you say a little bit in Tagalog? Or Bisaya and Tagalog.
It's gonna be all messed up.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah.
It could be
like,
Taglish.
hold on,
I don't
it'll be
know.
like sa
Kapot Filipino.
yeah, sa kapwa Pilipino ang lahat na kailangan natin, walang competition. Ang competition ay sa sarili natin. Kasi pag nandun yung competition sa kapatid natin, kailangan natin na sa sarili, hindi sa gawa ng kasi nakita natin sa lahat ng mga tao. Sa sarili natin, doon ang competition para uunlad tayo. Hindi tayo uunlad kasi sa nakita natin. Uunlad tayo sa sarili natin. So, sa mga Bisaya din ha, sa mga Bisaya din ha,
Let's go.
kung ang kinanglanan nato dili sa competition sa mga tao nga nakita nato. Ang nakita nato sa sarili nato kay kung buhato nato sa atong sarili ang akong gusto, didto nato makuha o makita nga mas maayo ta sa sarili nato kaysa sa competition nga nakita nato sa uban. Instead, magtulungan tayo, magtinabangay ta sa atong sarili. Kung narito ang tabang, dako kayo ang atong maabot.
Ako, pare.
Kita, mga Pilipino, mga Bisaya, mga Tagalog, dinha nato makitaan.
Mga Ilocano, pare.
Mga Ilocano. lahat. Yes, my wife is Ilocana. So, yes.
Okay.
But lahat ng mga Pilipino, ang kailangan natin is magtulungan sa isa't isa. Doon makikita natin kung ano kagaling ang mga Pilipino.
Now I got one for my Mexicans.
Amom Ilocano, no? I grew up in Baguio, so
yeah. So my
That's
my
Nonito.
my in-law.
Nonito, Donaire.
We got one for the
Salamat, bye.
Mexicanos.
Salamat, bye.
Hey, mi apoyo. Si se puede, cabrones.
Órale, güey.
Let's go.
That's
So
it,
good,
man. I think we can wrap it with that.
Wow.
That's so good, man. I think there's there's so much pride in being a Filipino. I think if we can, and same with the Mexicans. I mean, there's like you go to fight night, and it's just you feel just the whole thing.
Hey, they said Filipinos are Mexicans in Asia.
Yeah. We are.
Yeah, you guys are
That's it,
awesome,
man.
This is amazing.
Wow.
Great
I think-
vibes.
Yeah, that was amazing. I think we wrap it up with that. That's beautiful right there.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
man.
Nonito.
Thank you for having me, guys.
You're definitely real and rare. And there's a lot of people are inspired by your being, your existence. And I think you're a great example to follow in all areas of your life, man. So amazing. The
Thank you,
Flash,
guys.
baby.
That's right.
Oh,
Thank you, guys.
Salamat, bye.
Appreciate you, man.
Bye.
Yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
Let's go.